This week in the field, some mid-afternoon long exposure fun. Hi everybody, I'm Scott Davenport and welcome to In the Field. Before I dive into this week's episode, real quick, a couple of easy ways you can help support the channel here, support the show. Number one, tell a friend. If you've been watching these videos, you're getting some enjoyment out of them, some value. Share this with someone. And number two, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. It's really that simple, costs you nothing, a couple of clicks maybe, and I really appreciate it. It just it helps feed the energy that brings me back to the desk week after week to do one of these videos. So, what's going on this week? Headed out to do some long exposure work and did it in the mid-afternoon. Had some kind of interesting clouds going on in the sky, something that's it seems to be common this week in San Diego, but generally don't have these puffy type clouds. And they were moving pretty well. So it's like, all right, that sounds like a good opportunity to break out the really major stop, big stopper ND and do some longer exposures. So went out to an overlook area up on the cliffs over the ocean. You know me in the ocean, got to have ocean. But over Scripps Pier, so there was a nice, solid stationary subject to anchor the shot, and then let the ocean and the sky do its thing. So let me show you this spot on the maps, and then some footage from the shoot. So here is San Diego downtown, and the Scripps Pier is right up in this area here. So let's zoom in over here. I'll switch over to the satellite view, and there's our pier. And this whole area is the Scripps Oceanic Institute. And there is a little bit of a coastal walk path that's up on these bluffs here. So if I'll switch this over into 3D, so you can kind of get an idea of the size of the cliffs, right? So they got that going on. And then there are some safer walkways. You can kind of see some of them right here, this paved area here. And so rotating around, I'm up in this area standing here, looking down at the pier, at the ocean. And then, there's the nice beach leading down to La Jolla Shores and La Jolla to the south. Come on down to Scripps Pier, although this time perching myself up on the bluffs, looking down on it, really just kind of biding some time right now. I'm going to be heading down to La Jolla for a sunset, have a few hours. I come up here and I have a new 10-stop filter I want to try out. I've been without one for a while, looking forward to giving it a shot. I thought today would be a nice day for it. Get some nice cloud cover, pretty calm seas, and that 10-stop should smooth everything out. All right, so I'm set up here. I'm going to shoot a pano, so you can see I'm set up vertically. And what I'm going to do is kind of catch these palm trees. There's actually 3 of them. It goes up really tall, but I'm at 24 millimeters. So I'll be able to get those palm trees oriented vertically, and then take 2 or 3 shots, and then kind of stop just before I start to catch the full brunt of the sun in the frame. Now, a challenge I'll have, if I use just the neutral density filter and slow everything down, the water's gonna look really nice and smooth and everything's gonna be great, but these trees, and particularly those fronds up at the top, there's a pretty stiff breeze here. Those are gonna be moving around quite a bit. So what I'm going to try out is I'll first take a quick shot of the kind of left side of the frame without any filters, and then put the filter on and then do the sweep of the pano. So I'll have some crisp trees to work with, and I'll need to do some blending work in post. We'll see how this is going to work out. This is kind of an experiment for me. I'm not sure what the results will be, but that's the thought process here. All right, so I have put the filter on the camera now, this really shiny dark piece of glass there. And it's taking the 30-second exposure is what it turned out to be. So how did I figure that out? Metered without the filter, I got 1/30th of a second, and I'm putting a 10 stop on there, so I've just got to go do the math, double, 10 times until I got to, it turned out to be 30 seconds, which is perfect because I can just dial that in. I don't have to worry about bulb mode. And if you don't like doing the math, you can use an app. I've got one on my phone as well, and that agreed with my math, so my brain is still working, which is great. And so now just sweeping across the frame, I've taken the shots of the trees to freeze motion. Now I've just got to take one more of the pano to finish up the set. One more thing I'll point out is I spent time before starting the pano to get the tripod level, not just in the camera, but actually using the level on the head of the tripod. If you saw the In the Field episode a few weeks ago, I talked about tripod tips. Doing panos, this is one of those things where normally if you're doing a single shot, just do the ball head, level your camera, you're good to go. For the pano, if you level the tripod and as you sweep across, you're going to get less disconnects between the individual shots and a better merge overall. So right about now, I'd normally be showing you one of the photos from the outing, but I've barely got them out of the camera. They made it out of the camera onto the machine, so they're backed up and they're into my normal workflow, but I haven't done any work on them whatsoever. So I am eager to see how the pano turned out, as well as just to see how the color maintained itself, how well the filter did in keeping true to the color that was going on that day. A lot of blues, almost, really an aquamarine color. The sun was strong enough. I mean, this is pure daylight. And so you're getting a lot of that nice, inviting blue color in the ocean. So haven't gotten those done yet. Something tells me we might see one of those in post in a couple of days. But for now, you'll just have to take my word for it that it was a great shoot. It was a lot of fun. The tip of the week is the long exposure, the thick, high stop neutral density filter, and using that during the daytime. It's a great time to take out that filter and use it and have fun with it. Certainly during the day for the ocean, it has the great effect of smoothing the ocean out. If I recall, I was metering on scene without the filter at a 30th of a second, and then putting a 10-stop filter on it, I was having to do a 30-second exposure. So that's really going to slow things down. The water's going to get all smoothed out. The sky's going to get that nice feel of motion going on. And another way that you can use your heavy, high-stop neutral density filter is in crowded areas. As long as people are moving through the frame with that very long shutter speed, those people are going to disappear. And you're going to have those, empty, whether it be a high traffic tourist location or a busy street corner, anything like that, you can make people just disappear by putting on a neutral density and having a very, very long exposure. So that does it for this week in the field. If you've enjoyed it, please let me know. Send me comments. Again, subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends. Check out my blog too. If you've got a little more time than just the videos here, there's more things going up on the blog. Some are more in-depth articles, pointers to things I've written elsewhere on the web. Just all sorts of various things photography related. Until next time, my name's Scott Davenport, and happy shooting.